Today I want to talk about something I am really proud of, being a self-employed private carer, and why it's not just a job, but one of the most rewarding ways to work. Care work is often talked about in terms of pressure, long hours, and low recognition, and yes, it can be challenging, but when you choose to work self-employed and privately, something changes. You gain control, purpose, and the chance to deliver care the way it should be delivered, with time, dignity, and real human connection. First of all, freedom and flexibility. One of the biggest reasons being self-employed is so great is the freedom it gives you. As a self-employed carer, I choose who I work with, when I work, how I work, and how much I work. That flexibility is life-changing. It means I can fit my work around my family, my health, and my well-being, instead of constantly squeezing my life around a rota someone else has written. In a sector where burnout is common, flexibility isn't a luxury, it's essential. Being self-employed allows me to pace myself, avoid exhaustion, and actually stay in care long-term, which benefits everyone, including the people I support. Secondly, better quality care. Private self-employed care allows me to give proper care, not rushed care. In many agency settings, carers are under a huge pressure. 15-minute visits, back-to-back calls, barely enough time to say hello, let alone listen. That's not what caring should be. As a private carer, I can spend real time with clients. I can notice small changes in their health or mood. I can build trust, consistency, and routine. This leads to better outcomes, emotionally, physically, and mentally. Clients feel safer, calmer, and more respected. And as a carer, there's a real pride in knowing you're doing your job properly. Third, real relationships, not just service users. One of the most special parts of being a private carer is the relationship. When you work one-to-one, over time, you really get to know someone, their life story, their preferences, their fears, and their sense of humour. Care stops being transactional and becomes personal. You are not just the carer who popped in at 10 a.m. You become a trusted presence, sometimes the highlight of someone's day. That connection brings meaning to the work in a way that's hard to put into words, and honestly, that's what keeps many of us going. Fourth, being valued properly. Let's talk about value. As a self-employed private carer, I set my own rates. That means my skills, experience, and responsibilities are properly recognised. Care work requires emotional intelligence, physical stamina, medical awareness, safeguarding knowledge, and huge amounts of compassion. Being self-employed allows carers to be paid in a way that reflects responsibility, and when carers are valued, morale improves, standards rise, and people stay in the profession instead of leaving it. Fifth, being self-employed means running yourself as a professional. You manage your own training, your insurance, your DBS, your standards. That responsibility builds confidence and pride. You're not just a carer. You are a skilled professional offering a vital service. In the UK, where the care sector is under enormous strain, independent carers play a huge, crucial role. We help fill gaps, reduce pressure on services, and offer families more choice. That's something to be proud of. 6. Benefits for families and the wider system. Self-employed private carers don't just benefit themselves, they benefit families and the healthcare system too. Families often want consistency, familiar faces, and personalised care. Private care offers that. It reduces hospital admissions, supports independent living, and keeps people in their own homes for longer, which most people prefer. In a time when the NHS and social care services are stretched, self-employed carers are part of the solution. Yes, it has challenges, but they are worth it. Of course, being self-employed isn't perfect. There's paperwork, there's responsibility, there's uncertainty at times. But the reward outweighs the challenges. The freedom, the relationships, the quality of care, and the sense of purpose. You get to the end of the day knowing you made a real difference, not because the system told you to, but because you chose to. So the conclusion, being a self-employed private carer is great because it puts humanity back at the centre of care. It allows carers to thrive, clients to feel respected, and families to feel reassured. It proves that care can be compassionate, professional, and sustainable all at the same time. In a world that often rushes past the most vulnerable, self-employed carers choose to slow down, listen, and truly care. And this is something worth celebrating. Since stepping away from employed care, my life feels different. I have more control over my time, and that alone has made a huge impact on my well-being. I can plan my days, rest when I need to, and show up to work in a better headspace. I'm not running on empty anymore. I've also regained a sense of confidence and pride in what I do. I feel trusted, I feel respected, I know my experience matters, and I'm able to work in a way that matches my values. That's incredibly empowering. Outside of work, my relationships are better. I'm more present, I'm less stressed, I have the mental space to enjoy my life again, rather than just recover from work. And the most important thing is, I'm a better carer now because I am healthier, happier person. When my own life improved, the quality of care I give improved too. So when I talk about leaving employed care, I'm not talking about escaping work. I'm talking about choosing a life that's sustainable, balanced, and still deeply meaningful. And for me, that decision made all the difference.